Hi loves, this is BB Cigara Saint Sister and welcome to the first official YouTube channel, Cigara Saint Sister. It's been a beautiful week of creating and tweaking things and behind the scenes, unscripted moments, unrehearsed moments, as well as scripting out what is going to happen for VLOGOWEEN. So we're in October. This is the first official week of October. This is the first official week for any participating creators for VLOGOWEEN here on YouTube. And it's just a pleasure to create. I think that for the most part, a lot of us, we really put in really, I should say, my hair is looking crazy after being under that purple dew, but a lot of us put in a lot of effort and quality vibes when it comes to giving the different visuals for VLOGOWEEN. And I know of myself as a creator, I make sure that, especially having two channels, to make them as different as possible. So again, if you're just joining the TAHDAH squad, the notification squad, right here, the stars and STARROS, this is my interpretation and my visuals and my creative moments for VLOGOWEEN, Halloween, Cigaraween, because I do enjoy cigars on these channels. So it's been quite the pleasure getting past week one, because you know you're so apprehensive and you're just like, how are people going to respond? But one thing I will say, I don't ever apologize for what I put out there so far, because you know I think it through, and you know if you don't celebrate Halloween or participate or want to participate in VLOGOWEEN, then you wouldn't be here. So there has to be some kind of inquisitive nature for you to be here. When I do the creative works, I'm not trying to push my beliefs out on anybody. That's up to you on what you want to believe, and you know, kind of like what you take from the whole entire vibe of what I present and other YouTubers present as well. Now this is some very beautiful music right here. I've just been so in love with the different type of music that I'm going to place on VLOGOWEEN, and this one is just really cool because it has those beautiful chords on it and very haunting and very mysterious and that kind of vibe. But yeah, this week has been amazing. I've been enjoying my own version of VLOGOWEEN, and I've been enjoying others their versions of VLOGOWEEN. And I'm going to be dropping some names of the different VLOGOWEENs that I am enjoying, and I'll drop them on next week. So this video right here is going to talk about the paranormal vibrations that happen over on the second official YouTube channel, Cigara Saint Sister Live. There I took the road trip because this is how the schedule is going to go. For this channel, filming 5 days a week, every week in the month of October. And it would be a range from different topics and also enjoying different cigars, which I'm going to light up a beautiful cigarillo here by J.C. Newman. I know the last time I said J.F. Newman, I don't know what I was thinking about, but it is J.C. Newman, and this is the chocolate cigarillo. So you want to make sure it fits. This is in a cigar holder, so there it is. And then I got my green nails. It's been quite a ride, so I'm going to light this up. Oh, it's been quite a ride. And you can taste that chocolate essence in there, which is very, very beautiful. And then the cigarette holder or what I call a cigarillo holder. It's just very beautiful. But the first official YouTube channel right here for vlogging, let me stay on subject because we are live streaming. It's going to be filmed 5 days a week. And excuse any traffic noise. It's just busy Saturday morning. And I just love the sun coming in, kissing my skin. But it's going to be 5 days of filming. And it's going to include different story times. Of course, smoking the beautiful cigars. And going into like theater mode. And talking about an array of different subjects. So it'll be some very heavy moments and it'll be some lighthearted moments. So I'm definitely going to be balancing it out right here. And then this channel may also include some road trips in the 5 filming. It just depends. But on the second official YouTube channel, Cigar St. Sister Live for Vlogoween, there will be every week 3 days of filming, and one of those days will include some type of road trip, you know, with the whole paranormal, that type of thing. And also it would be gaming on the other channel because I love to game. There's going to be some really cool games that I'm going to be gaming with on that channel. And if I get to do more, then I'll do maybe like sometimes 3 or 2 games in one night. So it just depends because I love to game on the downtime and then I love to game for you all too. So that's what's happening on the second official YouTube channel. So now that we got that out of the way, and I'm going to just keep this theme right here. Now that we got that out of the way with how the schedules are going to be, I will be continuous in dropping those schedules. For the second official YouTube channel, I visited Statesburg, South Carolina, which is also known as the High Hills. Of South Carolina, and I went for the road trip and the paranormal experience, if I were to get it, at the Barrow Plantation in Statesburg, South Carolina. I didn't go on the plantation or the house, to the gravesite of the former owner, William April Ellison Jr. And a lot of people are familiar with him and some people are not familiar. But here is the backstory. William April Ellison was born April Ellison, a slave of mulatto vibes. And if some people, they don't know what mulatto vibes mean, that means that you have white Caucasian ancestry in the mix. So he was born to a slave woman. And through the historian, and myself as a historian, it is to be believed that his father was one of the Ellison men. If not the slave master at the time, then it could have been the slave master's son. And he was given the opportunity to not only read and write, but he was given the opportunity for learning a trade. And the trade would include blacksmith, and then he would go on with the cotton gin trade. So he was educated, and he was given the proper tools to succeed in life during the antebellum years in the time of slavery. This trade would serve William Ellison Jr. very good. And from there, he became he became, at that time, the wealthiest man of color, black man of mulatto vibes in the state of South Carolina. And he moved to Statesburg. And from there, he was on the plantation. He was also given he had so much money, and they let him at the Holy Cross Church in Statesburg. It's a beautiful church made of rammed earth. And if you go to my Instagram channel, BBBBBB, that's BEBEBIBIBEBE, that's a tongue twister. I have taken several road trips there all my life because my great-grandmother is from Statesburg, South Carolina, the high hills of South Carolina. And I have my great-grandmother, a lot of people know the story, but I keep continuing to say it for those who are new to the TAHDAH squad and just for reference. My great-grandmother was of Statesburg, South Carolina. She was born in 1891. She was not a slave. She was a free woman of color when she was born. And she lived there. And I had my great grandmother in my life for 29 years of my life. And she transcended and transitioned in the year 2000 at 109 years old. So she would always talk about the high heels of South Carolina. So going back to William Ellison Jr., he bought a pew in the church that sat by an organ for his family, for him and his family to worship among other white people, Caucasian people in the antebellum years. So this lets you know a lot of things doing this case study here, and me as an intuitive, heavy intuitive spirit, and as a historian, this lets you know that his money was well respected. And I guess you say, why did you go with the money? But money talks. And he was pretty much well respected too, obviously, to have that happen in the antebellum years. Excuse me. So he was wealthy. But the controversial part happens is that he owned slaves. He owned and bought his family members, and many of them saw their freedoms. And he also bought slaves to help work his industry of the cotton gin and the blacksmith. And the controversy comes even further because history stated that, I got some alerts there, so I'm sorry about that with the live stream, but history stated that he was a hard taskmaster and that he was the cruelest slave master out of all other slave masters. So him as a man of color was the cruelest to his slaves in terrible conditions. History can be talked up. I'm not here to debunk that, but you also have another part of history that stated that he was good to his workers who were slaves, and that he fought very hard to try and free all of his family members. And some he could not, like he had a daughter, and she had quasi freedom, which means that she was owned by another slave master, but because of his stature, and you know, of course, because of his father's stature, still prominent, and the son of a prominent slave master before him, they let him keep his daughter, and he paid money, and she had quasi freedom. So I thought it would be great to go I thought it would be awesome to go and find the gravesite. There have been other documenting people and other people in media and historians who put information out there, and it's easy to find the gravesite if you're coming from Sumter, South Carolina, because Statesburg, South Carolina is in Sumter County. So coming up from Sumter and then getting onto Highway 261, you would make that right to go into Statesburg, and then you would just keep going. Keep an eye on the left-hand side as you are on the right going in, and you would see a white long fence on the right. There's another white fence on the left, but you're looking for the white fence that's on the left. And when you get to the end of that long white fence, they said that the road is unmarked, but it's easy to miss. But at the very end of that fence, there's a road to the left, and it's called Old Garner's Ferry Road, which was the old way to go from Sumter, South Carolina to Columbia, South Carolina. So it says Old Garner's Ferry. You make that left right there at the end of the fence. And you go down like a few paces and look to the right. There is no marker, there is no sign, but right there you can see right from the road the graveyard, which is fenced in and has the beautiful tombstones of William Ellison Jr., William April Ellison Jr., and his family. It is surrounded by woods. And when we went, we were going around, it was in the afternoon with light, but when you're talking about trees in the forest, it gets a different type of light, darker, with sunlight shining through the trees. Okay, and so when we got there, as you can see on the full visuals on the Second Official YouTube channel, there was mowing happening for the grass on either side of the road. And so there was the guy mowing, and shout out to the brother because he was so cool, because I pulled to the side, I got out, started filming, but I had to be respectful for him to finish mowing on the other side because he was coming up one way and I was on the other side by the graveside. So he came around, and of course you can see on those visuals I went down and turned around and everything was cool. All right, so getting out, and this tea is so delicious here. This is Tension Tamer by Celestial Seasons. It's really, really great. And then I have an extra right there for the just in case. So I'm going to back this up a little bit. So when I got out, as you can hear on the filming, I felt inquisitive vibes, like inquisitive, like curious vibes. Then there was some type of tapping over in the woods. It's like tap, 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 knock, 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 and you could hear it. And I was just like, okay. But see, before even getting out of the truck and everything, as someone who is intuitive, and I am a believer in spirits. I'm a believer that there's good spirits, there's bad spirits, there are in-between spirits that could be mischievous and everything. And that life goes on from here once we transcend from our bodies and we go back to the spirit world. And in my experiences throughout all my life, I do believe that there is much communication with the other side, but I don't subscribe to conjuring, and I don't subscribe to seances, and I don't subscribe to that type of stuff. But I will do the paranormal part as far as vibrations. I'm not going to get like a spirit box. And let me tell you right now, I follow some people who do the cool spirit boxes and stuff like that, but that's just not me, and I don't do that. But I do believe in vibrations, and I believe that you can get them in various ways. It just depends on what you are open to, and sometimes you might not even be open to it, but it just comes to you. But at any rate, you know, for me, when you're going into that type of environment with spirits all around us all the time anyway, you know, be of a clean spirit, cleanse yourself really, really good, you know, with, of course, like the shower or something like that, but also cleanse yourself mentally and spiritually. You know, make sure your yin is in effect. So that's what happened. I made sure my yin was in effect. And then I always, you know, coming from a great-granddaughter who had a great-grandmother who was of Native American descent, and then you have all these people with their different beliefs. I'm trying to get the music here together. But when you have people in your family with different kind of beliefs and then things that you may subscribe to or something like that, you know, that's where you get your generational wisdom from mother's wit, that type of thing. So I've had that all around me because my great-grandmother was just fabulous. You know, she was a beautiful woman, of color, Native American descent, very spiritual, and she always would tell us the half has never been told. And we're talking about a woman who was highly religious and all of that, but she also gave reference to that there are things that we may never figure out, but be a little shocked, be a little surprised, but just know that there are things that's all around us. So for me, I love the oils. This is a beautiful oil, and I want to say shout out to Reggae Central in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is the fam. They have beautiful incense that I go get, beautiful oils that I go get. They have just a lot of beautiful things there. So if you're ever in Charlotte, North Carolina, make sure you check out Reggae Central and go see Miss Carolyn and go see Nikki. And I want to give love to them. So I always feel like you attract many things, just like you put on fragrance that can attract the honey to the bee type thing, that can attract the senses of other people. Oh my gosh, you smell so good, that type of thing. But this oil is what I had when I went out for the paranormal trip. Okay, and this is a beautiful dusty rose type oil. And rose is just beautiful. It smells of inviting of the fall seasons. You can wear it all seasons, but it just really smells very musky, and then it has that like dusty rose there, and it's very intoxicating. It's very alluring. It's very mysterious, and so I put that on me. So when I stepped out the truck and went right up to the gravesite, I had to be very careful because snakes can be about their camouflage, and with myself being a hiker, you just have to be careful. You have to use your common sense. Now, the road was traveled pretty good, but not consistent. And then when you're in a different kind of environment like that, you just don't know. And again, with myself being a hiker, anything could come out of the woods, anything could drop out the trees, or just anything. So, as a woman that is about her common sense, I had my tactical, and my mom was with me, but she stayed in the SUV, and I brought my tactical out with me, but I never showed it on camera. And I had that because of anything dropped out the trees or anything, because we heard a lot. Well, I heard a lot, and my mom heard things too from the truck. But like I said at the beginning, heard that knocking. And at that time, I didn't have my tactical. I didn't have my firearm, and I'm legal to carry my firearm, and I'm a good shot. But I didn't have it then. But when we had to turn around because of the tractor, and when I came back, I was like, I better just take it. So there was a lot of activity through the woods. But here's what's so interesting about that first bit of noise. After getting back and looking at the film, because I was looking for anything like orbs or light or swishes or anything like that, because I have caught the orbs on camera right here in the house when I was saying happy birthday to my great grandmother, and this is back in the spring. And also, I was just looking for different things. But when I look back on it, I was just like, he was a blacksmith. So boom, boom, boom. I was just like, I don't know. I can't say that for sure, but I was just like, was that a moment right there? Or was that someone in the woods? I could have been a woodpecker. You have to just stay open. But after looking at that, I was just like, okay. But then getting closer and talking and showing the headstones and everything, the vibes that I felt at the beginning was very inquisitive. Very inquisitive vibes. And so I'm sure any type of inquisitiveness was just like, looking like, okay, well, what does she might be doing here or anything like that. But I kept it very respectful. I didn't do any disturbing of opening the gate. I know some people have opened the gate. There were no flowers there, but then I started to feel more vibrations come, like regal vibes, like stately vibes. And even with no flowers there, no tokens there that I could see, I just felt proud vibes, like proud people. And then when I started talking about the what if he was not what they said, a hard taskmaster, what if he had to show a face to the outside world, being a few steps from saying, hey, we can snatch your freedoms, possibly, you know, he may have to show a hard taskmaster on the outside, but then in closed doors, and then with his workers and his family out out of the prying eyes, like other reports came, he was a great slave master to those who were there, and that many of them did get to see their freedoms. So you got the back and forth. So you don't know exactly who's trying to give that history or everything, because, you know, a lot of the history was unknown about him until they found like letters and papers in the home and stuff like that. And then you saw people who, I'm moving like alerts. I'm sorry about that. This is live stream, but you know, you uh, had, you know, different accounts, so you don't know who's trying to either taint the history of this man or whatever. But I felt so compelled while there to talk about what if maybe he had to show a face to keep the things that he had, because if he was too good on the outside to those slaves who worked for him, you know, people already did not like the fact that here is a man of color who's probably this, who is the son of either the older slave master or the slave master's son. He has his freedom. He bought his freedom. He has his great business. He's the wealthiest black man in South Carolina. Bought a pew in the Holy Cross Church where other white people go to worship, but he is the only one with his family of color that could sit in the church, not up in the balcony, but right there by the organ. You know, a lot of people were not happy with that. We're talking antebellum times. So maybe he did. And I just kept getting that compelling feeling to share that, to share that. It was like an urging to share that. Then other vibes started happening. It went from like curious to proud people, humble people, stately people, regal people, proud people. Um, Share this history since you're here. You know, how are you? Then the curious thing came back. How are you gonna put this into perspective? So that's what I felt. I felt those kind of vibes there. I never felt any dark vibes. I never felt any type of sad vibes. I never felt that. I just felt like maybe that compelling notion to just tell the story and just talk about maybe this is what you have to do. Because sometimes in life, people try to pick you apart for what you have, and they bring on their perceptions. And then when you're in the middle of things, like being in that type of vibe, what do you do? So everything wasn't handed to April Ellison on a silver platter, because he couldn't free his daughter. So that was always like that whole threat over his head. That other slave master could have said, okay, here, I'm giving your daughter your freedom. But that power just to hold over you, like, well, you won't get this. So you always had to be faced with that. He always was faced with, you're still a colored man, despite your triumphs. He was always hit back with that. So then you want to talk about his sons. They wanted to fight in the wars, but then again, a moment where he got hit back from that. They were denied to fight in the war because of the color of their skin. Even though they could passe blanc is you could be fair enough to pass as a Caucasian person, they were still denied because they knew the story of the origins from the slave mother and the black ancestry there still. But absolutely remarkable that he did the things that he did. So I felt very peaceful vibes. There was a moment over on the other side of the woods where something was crackling. And I felt, and my mom heard it, and I felt like something was trying to approach. Didn't see anything, but I just heard the crack to say, I'm here. And I don't think that had anything to do with April Ellison and his family gravesite right there. I felt like that was a little bit of a bad energy. But when you're intuitive and you've been taught, going back to my great-grandmother, the half has never been told, there's good, there's bad, and everything. When you have those intuitive feelings, you're on another level. So I always say don't play with it. And I don't. Again, I don't do that whole conjuring or anything like that. So when I heard that moment where it was like, pay attention to me, or I'm here, or something like that, I looked at the direction where it was, and I took the safety off my gun, and there was nothing there, but I was letting that moment know that I am going to stand firm here. Now, gets out of hand, I'll shoot and run. But I'm going to stand firm here because I'm here to do a documentary. I know what I'm here for. So you stand down. And it hovered, that feeling of a little ill hovered, but then it just moved on. I guess it was just like, I'm not fooling with her because she knows herself to thine own self be true. She's not, she acknowledged, but she's like, I dare you. I completely dare you. And this might sound really cuckoo crazy to some people, but again, it's just what you believe. So those vibrations were just what they were. It was just like phenomenal. The vibrations that I got, the whole regalness and the whole urging of tell this part, you know. So with that, this was broke out. I broke out the hardware. Now, this is not a spirit box. This is exactly what this is. This is a walkie-talkie. But this is from the vintage past when we used to be on our walkie-talkies. And I use this a lot of times because I stargaze and sky watcher. I love astrology, astronomy, and so I get the alerts. Yeah, I'm that nerd. I get the alerts that of different things happening in the sky all the time, and there's something happening all the time in the sky. So sometimes you don't know what you can pick up. So I was just like, no spirit box or anything, but this is my Windsor walkie-talkie, and it's so good because it picks up great. And then if you look right there, it has the Morse code. So then I'm not going to be doing any of that. Who's there, whatever. I don't ever expect to hear anything talk about leave here, get out, go. But I do believe in picking up vibrations, as I said before in the beginning of this live stream. So I turned it on there, as you can look on the Second Official YouTube channel for the full visuals. I turned it on when I got back in the car because I was already picking up vibrations. I didn't need to disturb the essence of the peacefulness of their resting place. It's beautiful. The woods, the forest, and the sun rays that was coming through there. and it was just a peacefulness. But then when you had those bumps and clicks and cracks and all that stuff, you could tell there were more curious vibes. I'm very sure, because that whole place in Statesburg, you could just really feel, you got General Thomas Sumter out there. I mean, it's a lot of vibrations coming from everywhere. So I didn't need to use this while I was out there because I was picking up the vibrations right there. But when I go back in, I put this on, and we could turn it on right here. And look how long that goes. It's like real long. Now, it was a different kind of vibration and reception and radio waves, airwaves out there. It was a vibrational type thing. And then in the middle of that, you could hear there's like shh, shh, and there's like different things, vibrations coming through. And I felt like that was the spiritual realms vibes coming through there. No words, no anything. But with the Morse code, you can put in different things if you want to. Like, I'll just say hi. And H for the Morse code is 4 short taps for H. E is 1 tap. L is 1 tap, long tap, 1 tap, 1 tap. That's L. Well, what am I doing? Am I trying to do help? Okay. I said hi, but I'm doing help. Okay. Okay. Who wants me to help them? Okay. And then P is 1 short, 2 long, 1 short. So that's Morse code. So you could say different things and then listen. And this does go higher. And sometimes when I'm stargazing, you can get different vibrations as well. But I'm looking at the time. Okay, so we're 37 minutes in. So I didn't touch anything on the side. That right there lets you talk. I didn't do all that. I just listened for the vibrations. And in those few moments, I caught some pretty good vibrations. So I was just like, it was a moment. And again, it's nothing to play around with. Getting another stick here. It's just something that you want to be all in for. Stand your ground, be firm, be respectful, and if it's naturally intuitive to you like it is for myself, then you know that there are some barriers that you don't want to cross. And I don't do that. I'm very respectful of life beyond here. In the back there, you see the candles going. I always have these kind of vibes around me. And I'm a believer in keeping good vibes. First, inner and mental. Be of a good spirit. We all flaw. We have our days and our moments. But overall, be of a good spirit. I feel like you have to be, especially if you want some really good results. And it just depends on what part of the paranormal you're trying to go to. If you're really trying to go to that deep, dark, seedy side, then I guess you have to equip yourself with whatever you're going to equip yourself with. I equip myself with love and light, but I also have a toughness about me because, there are some things that come because they're inquisitive, and then you just have to be like, no, or something like that, vibes. And some people, they may never feel vibes, and that's fine. And I also have incense that I keep around me all the time. Like I said, if you're ever in Charlotte, North Carolina, go on down to uh, Reggae Central. They have beautiful um, incense and oils and stuff like that. So the paranormal trip was really, really good. I love the fact that um, you have access to go see the grave site. There is no road for you to drive up in or park and have a lot of people park. You will be parking on the side of the road. I definitely would suggest having your hazards on. And I would love to talk to some of the um, ancestors, the descendants, also too. I think that would be really, really cool. But all I got was curious vibes when I first got there. It was like serious, curious vibes, like, and then that kind of eased off, and then that knocking right there in the small distance. And then when I looked back, I was just like, okay, blacksmith, what was that? Like something hitting steel, or like I said, it could have been a woodpecker or something, but it was very clear and it's audible on the full visual on the Second Official YouTube channel. Then on the other side of the street, that cracking that wanted me to know, like, look over here. And I was like, I'm here to look here, not over there, but I'm going to look over there and I'm going to stand my ground. And so, like I said, I had my tactical, and then you could hear me taking the safety off the tactical. And I guess they were like, and because that's like Civil War country right there. I guess they, if that was anybody from that era, I guess it was like, this woman is not playing. And then, of course, too, with my great grandmother being there with the Native American ancestry, I'm a firm believer, with the woods and the mountains, you know, with the Native American culture, the mountains are very important. The forest is very important. Be respectful going in to the forest, and it will take care of you. And then you got this beautifulness. If you are of Native American descent, then you really get that full vibe there. So I wasn't really worried about too much. But also, if you look at me inside the truck, when I went to light up my cigar, you could see my eyes like, and really wanting to get that cigar, is because there were more vibrations that was happening there, and it didn't come from the walkie-talkie anymore. It was just like some real vibrations, and you could see it all over my face. You could see it all over my face if you look at that. And to be like I was trying my best to be like, ease off that, BB Lolita, ease off that. But for some reason, my face shows emotion, and you could tell that I was still dealing with the after effects of emotion just right there. Like I could feel like the vibrations surrounding me, around me, and it was still like back to the curious vibes, but kind of like the after effects of taking everything in. And so I was excited. I was happy with what was filmed, but then I was also just trying to take in all of these vibrations. Now, before I leave, getting into just quickly the astrology, stop. I don't know. Getting into that vibe of the astrology being like, there was some noise in the background, so I don't want you all to think I'm crazy when I said stop. I was just like, I don't want people to hear that. Okay? So we're live stream. I felt like, with being a Pisces, because that's my sun sign, and I'm a rising Leo, so you have fire, water. And I always say a ring of fire in the water. And I love that combination because Pisces, we feel so much. We feel so much energy and just feelings and auras and stuff. That's just what that sign is. And then we take on, we're the last sign in the zodiac, we take on different things. We're very intuitive, very. And Some people embrace it, some people don't, but that's your thing, that's your thing. But with the fire and the water, I feel the vibrations, but then that fire, I love that that fire is right there because it keeps me from being too overwhelmed. With that Leo right there, that's that lion, and then that pride that comes with the, like when that knocking was on the other side of the woods, you know, like Leo is a proud sign. You can't really shut them down on their pride and how they see themselves and everything like that. So when that knocking came trying to veer me from what I was there to do, and that was to feel the vibrations and give reverence and showcase the William Ellison Jr. gravesite and talk about his history, when the focus was trying to get me going elsewhere, that Leo came out, and I was just like, the audacity that you are trying to take some shine, don't try it. And so that's what I love about how that Leo steps right in when that Pisces is feeling everything. So you could just see the whole vibe of me trying to get those emotions together. So there would be more paranormal type vibes. It might be a little lighthearted, and then I'll have some heavier times. And then the aftercare, you do need to aftercare yourself. Take a really good shower. Afterwards, cleanse yourself. Do some meditation. And come back in a really good space. I'm pouring the tea. So you always want to come back in a really good space after you have been in that kind of vibe, because you want to set the balance. You want to balance yourself out again, and you just want to, you know, free yourself of what you have experienced. So I love that, and I'm going to still keep, you know, being more interested in more, because I feel like there's still some more to know of William April Ellison Jr. You know, I feel, again, and I do feel strongly about that, even with those vibrations that happen, that to tell this story, you know, sometimes you may have to show a certain face for the outside world to keep your family protected and to keep your workers protected, because you know that you have your freedoms, but people hate it. And they'll do anything to take you down. We even see that now with some powerful people, and they have been brought down or been just on a road to make them look less than and crazy. Because even though people, they admire power, that some people hate that you have your gifts or you have your successes, and they will try to write your history. And it's such a shame if the history is incorrect because of a veiled mask of what you had to do to keep your family safe. And before I go, more than William April Ellison Jr. owned slaves, more other men of color and people who became free and bought their freedom and was able to buy other people's freedom in their family. It sounds crazy, but that was trying to keep the family together rather than being sold and separated. And if you have that kind of power to the outside, yeah, I bought my family, but my family is here. Unlike some people, a lot of people who got snatched from their mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, sisters, brothers, just separated, never to see each other again. Slavery was awful, and it wasn't a choice. Okay? That person is canceled. I don't even say their names. Canceled. Slavery was not a choice. And so I'm going to cool myself down a little bit with my LaCroix water. This is the lime. It's so delicious. And I thank you all for being here. New persons, subscribers, I see you. Welcome to the TAHDAH Squad. All other visitors and enthusiasts, thank you so much for the love and rocking with me here. And thank you so much for enjoying VLOGOWEEN, everyone. And I also want to show love to everyone on Instagram. I've been getting so much love on the official Instagram channel. I'm also on Facebook, Google Plus, and Twitter. So you can go check out those social medias. And again, there are 2 channels here on YouTube. The first one here, Cigar Saint Sister, and the second one, Cigar Saint Sister Live. The documentary road trip for the paranormal of William April Ellison Jr. is on the second official YouTube channel. Week 2 is coming, and I am excited about that for Vlogoween. We're just going to have a whole bunch of fun. And for all of those here who have been tuned in, I send love and light to you. And always, if you are of that nature and you believe in the unseen and that's your faith, that's beautiful. And if you don't, then that's your beautiful truth as well. We all have our truths. Now, in the background right there, the man in the military uniform, that's my dad. It is his birthday. So, a kiss to the afterlife, to my grandfather. And I'm wishing him in Ascension a beautiful, happy birthday. A beautiful man who raised a beautiful family, and we miss him, but we know that the love is still there. The love still surrounds us, and I try my best all the time to make Poppy very proud. So happy birthday, Poppy! And to any others, happy Vlogoween to you. The tea is so good. The vibrations is so good. And I will be taking that trip out there again at some other time. But those vibrations were very, very, very on. And it was more of a positive experience, except for the here and there. But you'll have that. And as an intuitive person, you know that those things happen because you have the spirits all around us. So, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day. And make sure you stay locked in to both channels because there might be some more uploads happening very soon before going into next week. I'm BB, Cigar Saint Sister. You've been locked in here. TAHDAH squad, have yourself a great Saturday. Everyone who's tuned in, have yourself a great Saturday. Thanks so much for the love. Happy Vlogoween, everyone. Make sure you go around YouTube and look at some more cool Vlogoweens because they're out there and more to come. Peace and love. Bye-bye.